My name is Jason Rehn. I'm with the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. And I'm going to go through some of the things that NRCS can do for you, our assistants, and some of our programs that we provide. I'm out of the Pine County office in Hinckley. So these are the Farm Bill programs that NRCS provides for financial, technical assistance. We can write conservation plans for you. The EQIP program is our primary program for doing conservation practices, for specific practices and stuff. CSP, Conservation Stewardship Program, that's going to be a multifaceted program. It's a 5-year contract, and you're getting, it's a little more comprehensive program, so you're getting a whole farm plan with that. CRP, Conservation Reserve Program, that's essentially taking cropland out of production and putting it into long-term vegetation. Eligibility for some of these programs, land eligibility has to be egg production land or something like that. Crops, pasture works. Trees, anything in forest also is production. Even lately we've had urban ag as ag production land. So as far as the producer, you have to meet eligibility requirements for compliance with wetlands. So obviously no draining any wetlands, any manipulation of any wetlands. Highly erodible land, if you do have highly erodible land, you have to do a conservation plan, so conservation tillage or residue management. And then you have to meet adjusted gross income. So if you make too much money, we can not give you cost share. So
the bar is really high.
The bar is really high, yeah. So EQIP, like I was saying, we do conservation practices to correct resource concerns. We have to have a resource concern for coming out to sign you up for EQIP. The way it works is you call us, we'll set up an appointment on your property to come out and see you. We'll identify the resource concerns, and then we'll come up with a plan that you can address these resource concerns with conservation practices. Some of these resource concerns are soil erosion, soil quality degradation, water quality, degraded plant condition, inadequate habitat for fish and wildlife, livestock production, and air quality. So right now we are going through a contract period for the fiscal year of 2023. You can sign an application for EQIP any time of the year, but we have deadlines usually in the fall for that fiscal year to go through our ranking period. And right now the 2024 sign up is to be determined, but it'll be sometime in November probably. Like I said, we come out on your property, we come up with a plan. You can sign the application if you want to. And then applications are funded based on a ranking system. We'll do an assessment, we'll do ranking as a point system, and it's based on how many funds are in the pool and how high you rank. It usually takes about a year for the whole process. So we'll go through some of these resource concerns. Obviously, this is soil erosion, gully and sheet erosion. You can see the before. This is a massive gully coming off from a farm field or a crop field going into the woods. And then this is the after it has been corrected. It's some kind of a water and sediment control basin or a grade stabilization. So there's a berm that's going across here with a tile intake right there to collect that water so it doesn't wash away that gully. It's basically a diversion of that water. So here's another ephemeral gully, or just a gully in the field. So we have soil erosion, there's sheet and rill erosion. On the right, you can see that it was a grass waterway that was done to protect that. This looks like kind of a rock spreader or something to spread out the flow of the direct flowage. Typically with grass waterways, you don't want to be farming next to them because you're going to cause more erosion along the side of a grass waterway. So you'd usually farm through them, not necessarily farm through them, but you're going to drive through them. So you're not going to do this where you're going to have corn and beans and farm alongside of them, because you're going to cause more erosion that way. But in a no-till system, this probably would be okay. Here we have soil and water quality degradation again. You can see on the left picture, they're doing strip till. There's cover crops within here, and that's going to help control erosion. Anytime you can reduce tillage and increase your residue, you're going to reduce erosion. You're going to increase your organic matter and soil microbiology. The cover crops do that as well. And then this one is converting, you know, this could be like a CRP or something like that, but converting your cropland or other areas into wildlife habitat, native grasses, wildflowers. Here's one for in the woods. The before picture shows, and it looks like it's actually cut, but it's buckthorn, which is an invasive species, which is also a host of the soybean aphid. So you want to reduce that. And then the after is the reduction of the invasive species. We also do prescribed grazing plans. So if you have cattle and you're grazing and you have overgrazing or just one large pasture and they just roam free and graze over that area, we can come up with a prescribed grazing plan where we do cross fencing, and we can kind of rotate them to give the plants more time to rest and give it better plant production, and then pipeline and watering systems along with that. And then plant productivity is another one. We provide cost share for high tunnels as well. CSP, as I was saying, is performance-based program centered on a baseline of conservation and a payment for additional conservation activities. So instead of like specific practices, we're doing enhancements for this, and you're doing more multifaceted practices, and you're going to be doing more monitoring. So the onus is more based on, or the onus is more on the landowner to complete these practices too. We do give job sheets and plans to do these specific practices, but there is an application deadline this year for tomorrow. So I did bring a couple applications if anybody's interested in signing up for CSP. Typically, CSP is done for people that have already done a few practices with EQIP, and they're ready to go above and beyond that to improve their farm. CRP is administered through the Farm Service Agency. They do all the contracting, and we do the conservation planning on CRP. And like I said, it's basically taking cropland out of production and putting it into long-term vegetation. We do mostly native grasses and wildflowers, but we can also plant trees and shrubs. The average payment per acre, you get a rental payment per acre per year for about 10 or 15 years. The average rental payment in Pine County is $61. That's gone up quite a bit over the last couple of years. Eligible practices are filter strips, wetland restorations with buffers, taking a whole field out and putting in native grasses or windbreaks. There is mid-contract management maintenance with each one of these, so you have to do some kind of mowing or burning of the native grasses. ASAP. It's an easement program that the USDA provides for agricultural land. I don't have a lot of information about it, but they do provide, it's an easement program, and they will give you up to 50% of the fair market value for your property just to maintain that agricultural land. So you're not building houses on it or selling it for, you know, for houses or whatever. If you have any more questions about ASAP and agricultural land easement programs, come up to me and we have an easement team that can answer your questions, so I can take those questions to them. The wetland reserve easements, 30-year easements, we're not in a priority area. You can still sign up. But it's not as likely as like the west, which is more of a priority area. So these are our offices in the area. We have Farm Service Agency offices that are like Mora is a Farm Service Agency office for Pine and Kanabec. So this is our contact information for Pine, Chisago, Isani, Kanabec. And here are some more websites that are maybe helpful to some of the farmers. Web Soil Survey, I know, is really helpful for some of the farmers to find out what your soils are, and you can get reports off from those and map it. I did print these on they should be on the handouts on a few of them, but there are some that don't have this one on there because this is a new slide, so. Any questions?